The swing style took America by storm in the 1930s and 40s. It reached virtually every segment of American culture because it was fun, had lots of energy, and most importantly, it made people want to dance. So let's take a look at how we create this swing feel. Focus on the ride cymbal, hi-hat, and string bass. With the drums, it's important to emphasize the ride cymbal and hi-hat while backing off the snare and kick drum. Also on the ride cymbal, notice how the upbeats of 2 and 4 push toward beats 1 and 3. This provides momentum, which gives us some of that energy that makes swing so much fun to listen to. Now to the bass. The strong, steady quarter notes line up perfectly with the ride cymbal and the hi-hat on beats 2 and 4. This groove in the bass and drums is the backbone of the swing style. Once the groove is set up, it's up to the rest of the band to make their parts fit inside this feel. Usually when reading medium swing music, eighth notes are swung, like do-da-do-da-do-da-do, while quarter notes and tied pairs of eighth notes are played short unless marked long. Here's an example. You might have noticed that the quarter notes on beats 2 and 4 were played with more emphasis, and that the ends of groups of eighth notes were short and accented. These are also standard characteristics of swing. There are so many of these kinds of rules and interpretations that the best way to learn what to do is to listen to as many big band recordings from different eras as you can. And then when somebody says to play in the style of Count Basie, Thad Jones, Mel Lewis, or Glenn Miller, you'll have a really good grasp of what they want.
Let's move on to the shuffle. A shuffle is another form of swing. For the drums and guitar, it means minor adjustments to the basic swing pattern. Notice the eighth notes in the drummer's left hand on the snare drum. Also notice how beats 2 and 4 are slightly accented while beats 1 and 3 are softer. A variation of this pattern has the hi-hat playing all of the upbeats instead of beats 2 and 4. Another kind of shuffle is the rock shuffle, also called a roadhouse shuffle. The pattern is the same except that the drummer's right hand plays on a slightly open hi-hat, accenting all quarter notes. This type of shuffle has a more raucous sound.
Now that you're starting to understand the swing feel, we're going to slow the tempo down and show how this changes things. A swing ballad is challenging because every person in the band has to think the same way or it won't be together. In other words, you need to subdivide the rhythmic pulse through the whole chart. This can be hard at first, but the rhythm section can give the band clues on where or actually when to play the notes. To demonstrate, our drummer will now play the subdivision. Now he'll take away the crutches, and we'll see if we can all keep it going on in our heads. When this happens, remember to listen closely to the rhythm section. Even though the drummer has stopped playing the subdivision, the rhythm section is still providing some clues about where the subdivisions are.
As we're sure you've noticed, the eighth notes in the swing feel are played with a triplet feel. Notice as the saxophone section demonstrates the swing eighth notes at a slow tempo. the eighth notes straighten out as the tempo increases. Listen to what happens each time they speed it up. The eighth notes will almost completely even out by the time the tempo is half note equals 144. This is when articulation and accents become very important for keeping it swinging. A basic rule to follow is to accent the tops of lines and the first note after a change in the direction of the line. Here's the lead alto part to this sax solo with the accents written in the appropriate places. You may want to mark your parts at first to remind yourself, but eventually the accents will become second nature.